But after the
Of course
matchup,
not. God.
yeah, Aiden Neville. Ziggler helps Neville up, but then, Sheamus comes through and he starts beating down, both guys. Ends up laying out Neville with a bro kick. Ziggler does kind of have some fight back. He comes off the table at one point with some forearms to Sheamus, and he tries to fight back, but ultimately Sheamus kind of lays him out and ends up hitting a bro kick, and then he stands over Ziggler and poses. I'm loving this Sheamus. I'm loving just how he's destroying everybody. It's great. It's awesome. It's really fun, and I fully expect these two to have a matchup at Extreme Rules. Should be a very entertaining encounter, especially if you give these two time. Give these two like 15 minutes, and I feel like they could potentially have match of the night. I think, they really have that in them. So, good stuff here. Puts great heat on Sheamus. Ziggler looked like a champion after that match with Neville. It's all good. So,
Yeah, buddy.
Absolutely. After that, we get our main event segment. We already kind of touched on this in our opening segment, talking about, Rollins' stipulation. He gets rid of, the RKO because he says, Randy, you rely on that so much. You need it. This is Rollins' way of complicating things because he loves to complicate things because it creates opportunities. So he is struck, but Randy Orton says, hey, I may be dependent on the RKO, but you're even more dependent on the authority. And I have to give credit where credit is due. Ashton saw this coming, forget 1 mile away, more like 20 miles away. You called this very early in the show when we knew that this was going to be a thing, that Randy Orton was going to trap Seth Rollins in a steel cage, and that's what he chose. And, crowd seems to pop big for that. Rollins says he is not scared of that stipulation. He's not scared of Orton. And, he says, without the RKO, you're just going to be the first victim of my championship reign. And Randy pretty much more or less says, hey, if I can't use the RKO, at Extreme Rules, I'm going to give people their money's worth now. And he tries to get to Rollins, but J&J Security intervene, and they pretty much both get laid out with RKOs, and Randy Orton poses with the crowd to end the show as Rollins makes the escape. So pretty straightforward, very simple setup. We have got Rollins versus Randy Orton at Extreme Rules in a steel cage match with the RKO band. Interesting to see how that'll all shake out come next Sunday. So
absolutely.
All right, any concluding remarks about this, or do you want to move on to our next segment?
I don't think I have any concluding remarks. Go for it.
All right, high spots and low shots. And I gotta say, my low shot tonight is Kane. Despite doing what was quote-unquote best for business, he had to endure a very personal humiliation, and I don't even really think it means that his job is secure. There's definitely been that tension lately. Who knows how Rollins will antagonize him next week. So yeah, Kane is my low shot.
All right. Oh, man. I think my low shot, it kind of has to be Bad News Barrett, because even though he lost to the champion, the U.S. champion, it's still like, you're supposed to perceive Bryan and Cena on the same level since they're both holding those mid-card titles, and if he can't beat Cena, why would he be able to beat Bryan?
Right, especially when Bryan was somebody who has beaten Cena clean.
Well, yeah, and I was actually just getting ready to say, I'm pretty sure Bryan's one of the very few, if not the only person currently active in the WWE with a winning record against John Cena in singles matches.
Yeah, really. So, definitely very sound logic on your part for that low shot. That's some bad news for Bad News, Barrett.
I see what you did there.
Absolutely. I have to say, you know what, my high spot, you know what, I'm still going to go with it even though it was a rough night for her. I'm going to say my high spot's Paige. She may have gotten beat down for it, but she won a number one contenders match for the Divas Championship in her home country of England. Great feeling for her, great moment. And again, yeah, even though she kind of took her lumps from Naomi afterwards, she's Extreme Rules bound, and this may finally be the time she beats Nikki Bella and snags, what would it be, her third Divas Championship reign?
Something like that, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, good night for Paige, all in all.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm doing my research, and if you count the 2003 Velocity match between Cena and Bryan, when it was John Cena versus American Dragon, Cena is 2-1 against Daniel Bryan. But if you don't count that, they're tied. It's 1-1.
Interesting.
Because Cena beat Bryan on the August 6th, 2012 episode of Raw. and Bryan beat Cena at SummerSlam 2013.
Right.
But those are the only 3 singles matches they've had against each other. That's crazy.
Right. So who is your high spot?
Man, my high spot. I almost said Seth, but he's locked in a steel cage with Randy Orton, and you just never know what that's going to happen. So I'm going to say my high spot is Fandango, because he's finally back on track. Everything is sort of lining up for him right now, and even if he doesn't necessarily become a top babyface, I think that him as a babyface with this music is going to be something that'll take him a long way.
Absolutely, completely agree. Very interesting choice. I like how you kind of went out of the box there. I hope that it translates into good things for Fandango. I mean, we had a very in-depth discussion about it. Let's see what translates from it. Let's see what fruit it can bear. So, with that said, let's move on to our next segment. Raw request. My Raw request is going to be very simple. You know, now that you've had Naomi do this turn, I mean, I heard a rumor that Paige may be off for a little bit to do Santa's Little Helper. So, I mean, if that is the case, just start having Naomi maybe take out other divas, you know, get back to her winning ways to kind of make her case, either to change the Extreme Rules matchup to a triple threat or to get a matchup after Extreme Rules. Just really go strong with this Naomi heel turn, because I'm very intrigued by the prospect. So that is my Raw request.
Am I allowed to piggyback off your Raw request with my Raw request?
Absolutely.
My Raw request is, now that she's turned heel, let Naomi use that Hurricane Rana DDT style move that she had a couple months ago on Main Event as her finisher.
Yeah, I think that's a nice fit. Definitely. It's not flashy. It kind of has a devastating feel because you're literally driving someone's face into the canvas.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like, that's a heel move. Like, I almost feel like that's why they didn't let her keep it, was because she was a babyface and it seemed too mean of a move to use.
Yeah, I definitely like that. I will co-sign on to that. I'm really glad that we're showing Naomi all this love for an entire segment.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, with that said, that leaves our main event segment, 30-second hot seat.
Oh,
what do you got
man.
for me this week, Ashton?
I kind of wish you wouldn't call it a main event segment, because that's like, I feel bad when I don't live up to that billing.
Oh, don't worry about it. Hey, you got me last week, and I don't think you expected to, so what do you got this week?
All right. Well, oh, man. Well, man, this is actually, you know what, John? I'm going to do this for the second time ever.
Okay.
Roll switch.
Oh, so I get to give you the 30-second hot seat.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm feeling gloriously unprepared tonight, so I'm going to let you bear the brunt of coming up with the question, and I'll try and beat it in 30 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to give you a very straightforward one.
All right.
Okay, it's going to be a 3-part question.
Okay, straightforward, but still 3 parts. I get it.
Okay. Do you think Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper are going to have a match at Extreme Rules? That should be pretty easy enough. If they are, what stipulation are they going to have, if any? And 3, who do you see going over in that matchup? And I'm going to say that your time starts now.
Yes. Regular old Extreme Rules match. Dean Ambrose to get him back on track.
You answered that by my count in 7 seconds.
I'll take it.
Absolutely well done. With that said,
I got a lot of time left in the bank.
Yeah, you do. I actually really like that. It's keeping it very basic. It's a great way to build Dean Ambrose back up. And again, it gives Luke Harper some nice shine in a one-on-one format. So kudos to you. That was excellent. With that said, do you have anything else you want to say about this show?
No, not really. It was fun.
All right, guys, I'm right there with him. So with that said, this has been Raw. This has been Twit Wow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What did you think of Raw this week? What do you think about the unique stipulation of Randy Orton not being able to use the RKO? Will it significantly affect WWE Network subscriptions? Do you think it'll allow Randy Orton, to bring back the pun or bring something new that we're not even expecting? Be sure to take the conversation over to Pweetoff, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. Also, if you'd like, there's also the TwitWow subreddit that Ashton created. We'd love to talk to you personally one-to-one there about wrestling. And until then, guys, we will see you again for our Lucha Underground Review, the first half of the Wednesday Night Wars, as we're going to see a war as Johnny Mundo, Prince Puma, and Hernandez team up against Cage, King Cuerno, and Tejano in the semifinals now of the Trios Tag Team Championships. Who will emerge and continue down the path to championship glory? We will find out, and until then, tune in and peace out.